Hello and thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangouts. I'm Ayodele Ozubakum. Today on the program, NLC demands immediate implementation of new minimum wage as Kaduna State commences implementation on the 1st of September. And later on the show, Governor Yahaya Bello, three others scale screening hurdles as APC committee axes 12. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Olayinka Oyegbele. If you are ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us again. Much ado about nothing appears to be the lot of the new minimum wage question in Nigeria. After much agitations, long-drawn negotiations, and raised hope, implementation of the 30,000 naira minimum wage signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari in April is still in limbo. In the face of this uncertainty, the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, is calling on governments at all levels to commence immediate implementation of the new minimum wage. After a meeting with its National Executive Council, the NLC said governments can no longer hide under the protracted negotiation for consequential adjustments to delay the implementation, while others are foot-dragging on the issue. The Kaduna State government said it will begin the implementation on the 1st of September. Somebody finally bailed the cat. Babajide, Nasiru El-Rufai, I'm bold to say he's a trailblazer, and I've seen some examples. If any, the single treasury account, you can always talk about giving portfolio to commissioners to go to the House of Assembly, giving KPI to commissioners, and this one now, he has come out categorically, not those ones that said before the election that they were going to pay the minimum wage, and after the election, we are still negotiating, but it's quite categorical about it that 1st of September, it will implement the minimum wage.
Yeah, it's a good thing that he's come up to say that, but I also consider him fortunate. Fortunate? Yes, I consider him fortunate. If he was governor of some state, there's no way he would be talking about this. If he was governor of a state that inherited a huge debt overhang, there's no way he would be able to do it. Remember, El-Rufai accused the former governor of the state of looting. There was no name he didn't call the PDP administration. On the day he discovered that his predecessor actually left a good sum of money in the account.
That's Ramalan Yero.
Ramalan Yero. He was ashamed. He had called them names, he had said all kinds of things, and discovered that that man actually even left money in the account for him to start his administration. So if Ramalan Yero and others before him had left Kaduna like Kogi, because Kogi, whether we like it or not, I'm not saying, the governor of Kogi is thoroughly incompetent, no doubt about it. That is the fact. But the truth also is that Kogi, the governors before him, left a huge debt overhang. They left so many months of unpaid salaries. And that was why what Kogi asked for in the first bailout, the approval that Kogi got in the first bailout was higher than any other state in the country. In fact, the closest state to it was Osun, and Osun was a little over 30 million, 30-something billion, whereas Kogi was 50 billion. Yeah. So this is what we are talking about. It depends on the kind of state that you inherit, because you are not a miracle worker. If we inherited liabilities that you will be servicing from the first day, how do you begin to pay minimum wage from September 31? Because I looked at their story. They are talking about what they will pay. Their wage bill now is just about 3 billion. Go and ask for the wage bill of Benue State. The wage bill of Benue State is the third highest in the country, after Lagos and Rivers. And what do they generate in Benue State? And it's not the fault of the current governor, it's what he inherited. So some problems that some governors inherit make it difficult for them to succeed. His wage bill is just, even when he begins to implement this, his wage bill is just 3 billion. There are states today in Nigeria that their wage bill is about 3 times that.
Definitely.
So this is the point that we are making. We are not saying that he has not done well. No, I've praised him in the past. Though those who think that I hate him never acknowledge it when you praise him. That's their nature. The day you say, oh, he's done something wrong, and you justifiably criticize, they will say he hates him, oh, he hates him, oh. The same thing they say about Fashola. Oh, Jide hates Fashola. But the day you praise him to high heavens, they pretend like they didn't see it. So the same thing, it's not, El-Rufai has the capacity to pay now. And that's why I say that he is fortunate. If he had inherited Kogi State, he would not have been among the first to boast that they are going to pay. Because looking at that wage bill, 3 billion, 3 billion is small. There's 3 billion even after you are implementing. With all the consequential, this, and even what is going to give the civil servants is quite significant, much higher than what the federal government is arguing about. Yet, the wage bill is still within 3 billion. No, he's a thoroughly fortunate governor. You have to admit it. I know some state governors who will not be able to do that.
When we are counting 1, 2, 3, and we want to look at 18,000 was difficult for some states. Now we're talking about 30,000 naira. We know the federal government is bound to pay it, and it's just a matter of time. It has been signed to law. They will pay it. But we can't say the same of some of the states.
Well, even in Kaduna State that has agreed to pay now, I want us to be a little bit wary of accepting what is going to happen. Because I'm not sure the modalities have been unfolded. Will the NLC agree, the state NLC this time? Because at the federal level, you know, we discussed this just about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The problem is not agreeing to pay. The problem is, how do you graduate the payment? Those who are already heavily paid want the same treatment, 100%. So the Kaduna State government, perhaps the federal government needs to learn from its own operational modalities. How did he say he's going to pay? Has the labor agreed with him? Because when the news broke and they announced that they are ready to pay and they will pay from September 1, everybody is applauding. We are all applauding him now. But what exactly is the level of payment? Will the NLC agree? Those are the details we need to find out.
No,
and then
the press statement stated how much, what's the percentage? It's stated.
But the NLC...
But we've not heard from NLC. But from what we see, if it's going to pay that much, the percentage is huge. I don't see the NLC saying no.
Because that is
and
always...
then even the workforce in that state.
Of course.
You can't compare to
You can't compare to other states.
You can't compare at all to a state like Osun. So it is, I'm sorry that I'm taking, it is sometimes unfair to compare governors, because the resources available to this,
in fact,
are not necessarily available to the other person. It can be really unfair. Yes.
You know, that is all what we have been saying all these days. A blanket minimum wage is not fair. If Lagos is able to pay 30,000, will Jigawa, will Yobe, will Kano, will Benue and the rest of them be able to pay? And when you even look at it, what are the level of spending. I mean, a flat in Lagos. What you pay for a flat in Lagos in a year, will perhaps you pay that in Benue or whatever you pay for the next 10 years.
You are paying.
Exactly.
If you pay for a flat in Kogi,
exactly.
Victoria Island,
so
it will take you to build a house.
So why should somebody working in Lagos be earning the same thing with somebody in Benue or in one of those backyard states? So as we are saying, we need also to talk very much about how do we make sure that this thing don't go like that. If the federal government is paying its own workers the same thing, whether you are in Lagos, you are in Jigawa or whatever, it's not binding on the state government. If the state government cannot pay, anyone that want to collect the federal government salary level in Jigawa should look for a job in a federal establishment in Jigawa. So that we must begin to practice true federalism. True federalism is not only about giving us, giving this and that, but what exactly is obtainable in other federal systems around the world.
Julie, can we actually say, according to your states, you work out the percentage according to how financially buoyant your state is? That, okay, Osun State is saying that it might not graduate the way it's graduating in Lagos State.
Yes, that's
the way to go.
Even during the last exercise, that was what happened. States will negotiate based on their strength, individual strengths. You cannot tell a state like Zamfara, for example, that even couldn't pay the last minimum wage successfully.
18,000.
Yes, yes. To now be given as much as some states are paying. There are some northern states that are rich, much richer than others, because revenue allocation is a function of the number of local governments that you have, and even population.
Population, yes.
And of course,
what is it like Kano gets?
Size, you know, so because money is allocated to states, I mean to local governments, a state that has many local governments, like Kano, 44 local governments, like Katsina, they will get much more than those states that have far less.
Bayelsa with
yes.
Just
so, well, Bayelsa, they have an edge because they are
13%
states.
oil. Okay.
But when you compare them to some of the states in the north, you see that, or Gombe, for example, you know, you see that clearly there's even no basis for comparison because they are ahead of them in many ways. And some of those states too, in the north, like Kano, they get paid more than many states in the south, largely because of the population and number of local governments. You know, so what Kano can do, projects that Kano can take on, there are many states in Nigeria that cannot take on because they don't earn the same from the distributable revenue from FAC. They don't earn the same. So I believe that this whole thing, the negotiations will cascade down to, I mean, all of the states. States, governors will say, see, look at the situation. Raouf Aregbesola did that. Say, gentlemen, look at...
Let's sit down. I think NLC was so involved in the payment of his own salary.
It was even Baba Hassan Sumonu, the greatest NLC president to come out of Nigeria. He was one who led the whole negotiation. Say, look, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Some categories of staff will get full salary. Others will not get, because that was better than retrenching people. Yes. The alternative
or not paying at all.
Or not paying at all.
Yeah.
You know, and when things improve, because they are beginning to, those debts, by the end of this year, one of the big debts that they pay will have been cleared. So in no time,
Governor Yotola could...
Yes, the things will return to normalcy in that state, and then they can now pay people fully. You know, so the states will be able to sit with labor leaders in their various states and negotiate. That look, this gentlemen, this is what we can do. Even when Asiwaju wanted to right-size the staff in Lagos, he still had to meet with with Labour, although they disagreed with him, you know, and those guys had to be tear gassed and all that. You know, he still had to meet to say, look, this is what I can do. This is what we need to do in the interest of the state. We have to look at the bigger picture. Whether Labour likes it or not, this negotiation has to take place because there is a big implication. Once you agree that you are going to increase minimum wage, everybody gets something.
Yeah.
The fact that everybody is entitled to something will push up the wage bill.
Yes.
So, and you must manage it properly. You cannot say because Labour is asking for 60% or Labour asking for 40%, then you have to pay. If you pay today, what if you can't pay tomorrow? So that's why I'm saying, look, these negotiations, both sides have to be realistic. If you are saying, what government is saying, for example, is that, look, the percentage that should go to the heavy hitters, heavy hitters, like, for example, let's say level 11 to 17. You can't expect it to be high. Let's give them just something little so that a level 17 officer doesn't get as much as 100,000 extra. Just
at the detriment of...
Meanwhile, the minimum wage
was
not even designed for them. So the people for which the minimum wage was designed for, those are the ones that should get 66%. Take your 66%. These people, what government is saying, they shouldn't get even up to 10%. Just give them maybe 5% or something to add to their salary. They are already more comfortable than other categories of staff.
Very well.
That is the sticking point. There are no issues with grade level 1 to 7.
No.
It is from 7 now to 16 that they have arguments. And I expect that with the little man from Anambra back in the saddle, they should be able to work this thing out so that we don't have protracted negotiations.
How can the private sector benefit from this? Because it's still as ridiculous as when you go to some places, you will hear that some teachers, some primary school teachers, earning as low as 10,000 naira per month, 15,000 naira per month, 20,000 naira per month. They're watching, even in Lagos.
Yes,
teachers. You know, nursery school, primary school teachers.
It is a bit, it's something very tricky, because even the law itself says that you must have at least a staff of about 10 before you implement the minimum wage. And typically, as Nigerians, people do find the back way to do away with that. And in a system where jobs are very scarce, you find people doing it. You have a situation now where even university graduates are going to teach in private primary schools, not even secondary, private primary schools.
No jobs. No.
And the money they give them, you begin to wonder.
20,000, 15.
What will you do with this? It's even a bit better if they live in that vicinity. So but you find out that some of them even have to go far from that vicinity. They have to transport themselves and all that. So it becomes a bit difficult. But, you know, business is not done based on government fiat or government decision or being kind-hearted. Business is business.
I thought minimum wage is a law.
It is a law.
And the standard must be.
It is a law. But
across board.
You know that in Nigeria, people have a way of breaking it and bending it.
Implementing
and also, there are things that you can, that helps it. If I decide that I'm not going to take that kind of a salary and I decide not to work there, the man next door may take it, even though we have the same qualification. He might even have a superior qualification than me. So if he takes it and others do like that, that is why it is always happening like that. Because I decide that, no, that salary is too poor for me. Another man takes it. Other people are ready to take it. So at a point, people will be looking at you that you don't have a job, yet you are making younger, as we say. So you also will be compelled to take such a job. But to implement it, we need very, very strong laws that can take, if the government can do it, take a look at the wage bill or what they pay people that work for them.
Okay, let me take this call from John. John is calling us from Ikorodu. Thank you for joining us, John.
Hello. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, John.
Yeah, I compliment those of you on journalism and God for a job well done.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Now, we are talking about minimum wage for the workers. But what of minimum wage for the retirees in Nigeria?
Or minimum
In
pension.
Nigeria. Now, there are some parastatals, federal government-owned parastatals, that are paying 300 naira and 1,000 naira, respectively, for their pensioners for the past almost 30 years.
Yes.
And federal government, we have been on the fight for so long. Even the people, many of them are already dead. And even let me mention to you that the company in question is Nigeria Security Printing and Minting. Many of their workers are already dead. The past 30 years, since 1992, they have been paying their workers 300 naira and 1,000 naira up till date.
It's a very valid argument.
It's a very, very valid one. Because
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What can you do?
as the minimum wage grows,
Pension
so
too,
should
too.
pension. I still don't understand.
But I can't just wrap my head around that. 1,000 naira.
1,000 naira for
Yeah,
what?
it's true
Is
now.
it for a recharge card of...
Nigeria
And these are the
2019.
same people that they will tell that they should come and do I'm still alive.
And they
You
will,
leave Ikorodu to go VI to go and do
biometrics.
biometrics and all that for 1,000
No, they
naira.
die in the process.
Something that will not even is not enough to transport you from your home to the place.
you know, even for those men, when you
Yes.
tell them, don't bother to go, they want to go because it's their sweat.
It's their sweat.
You
It's their
cannot
entitlement.
convince them.
Exactly.
You tell my dad, for example, now not to go. That this problem is too much. Don't go there. Don't go and line up.
we
collect this
monetize
thing.
it for you.
He will ignore you because he sees it as his entitlement. his sweat.
Exactly.
You know, but as the wages of the regular workers grow, pension should also grow.
Yes.
Well,
there
these are
must
people
be
who
a way
have
to
served their
work it
country,
out.
served their country. We should not dishonor them in their old age. You see these people, the way they line, some of them will slip off. You know, go to Abuja pension office, you see these old men. You know, some of them suffering one debilitating ailment or the other. They are just suffering. And some people have made a career out of stealing what is meant for these old people. It's really unkind. It's unfair. So, when we look at what the sticking point in the argument over this minimum wage, government wants, NLC wants grade level 7 to 14 to get 30%. They want grade level 15 to 17 to get 25%. But government wants grade level 7 to 14
To get...
to get 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5%. So then
15 to 17.
15 to 17 to get 5%.
Okay.
That is what government is saying. Because basically, the higher your wage, the higher the government must pay.
Yeah.
So they are targeting these high earners.
Level 17 officers.
Yeah, so that let what they earn not
the big
exceed 5%.
Okay.
So that the direct implication of minimum wage won't be that they will now have to
truckload of money.
Yes, government will now pay so much
To them.
And in a lot of our ministries,
disadvantage
yes, in a lot of our ministries are even top heavy.
Yeah.
Which means that when you implement this and you can't get them to agree that they should take just 15%, definitely it will bring problem. But NLC is saying, no, pay these people 25%, pay level 15 to 17, 25%. Why? Because they are saying over the years, there have not been wage increases.
Yeah.
There was no real palliative measures when we increase minimum. I mean, when we increase fuel prices. The value of the naira has plummeted. So all of these factors, NSC continues to complain about that. Look, pay them to 25. So this is where we are. I just hope that within a short period, both labor and government will be able to agree, so that we don't get pushed into a needless strike over minimum wage.
The normal thing we witness is that anytime they implement this minimum wage, you go to the market, the tomato seller, the landlord has built his house since 1980, everybody will start, and inflation.
Well, it's a wild circle, and it's not unexpected. It's just that, because the landlord perhaps is a retiree, and it depends on that house to live, because the children he has trained are also employed, and their salary is not enough for them to take care of their family, talk less of taking care of him. So he sees his house as the only thing he can increase the rent. And also the tomato seller and all that, that is their own cash cow too. They don't have salary increment from government, so they use what they are selling to supplement the distance. But you see, as we have always been saying, most times, some of these things I blame the government. The reason is this: when you do things, you promise to do when the price of fuel was increased, they said we are going to do a lot of palliative measures, we are going to build this, we are going to build that, the roads are going to be. Have that been done? No. Because when you look at the cost of production that these people also undergo, the one that pains me most, why is it that all these farm produce are always transported by night? They are transported by night because when they are going, the policeman will stop them, the quarantine, whatever, the soldiers will stop them.
Local government.
The local government will stop them, they will collect money, and all this money will be visited.
Will drive up the price.
Exactly. So if there is a way that this thing can be done to make sure that prices remain stable, it will pay everybody. Because the more money I have, the more things I buy. If I eat twice a day, if food is cheap, I will eat 3 times. But if food is not cheap...
There's no price control anymore.
Exactly. The price control. Okay. When last did we hear that one? So that's the problem.
We'll be back to round off, but still to come. Governor Bello, 3 other aspirants, skill screening hurdles as APC committee axes 12 from contesting governorship primaries. Stay with us. Welcome back. Still Journalist Hangout, and we are looking at the yet to be implemented 30,000 naira minimum wage. There's a good news. The governor of Kaduna State, Governor Nasir El-Rufai, is saying come 1st of September, we'll start implementing that new minimum wage. You explained, but you didn't complete your explanation on the scale, because this is the tricky part.
Okay. Now, the labor and the federal government are in agreement that level 1 to 6 are to get 66% over their current
66%
salaries. So they are getting full implementation.
Highest beneficiary.
Yeah, so because 18,000, once you move from 18,000 to
30,000,
is 66%. So the level 1 to 6 are the people who are getting 66%. Now,
which is fair enough.
Yes, labor wants level 7 to 14 to get 30%. But government is saying, no, level 7 to 14, let us give them 9.5% over their present wages. Instead of 30. Now, labor wants level 15 to 17. Those are the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
To get 25%.
25 on what they're getting.
On what they are getting. Government is saying no. 35% is too much.
The biggest boys.
These guys should be happy to take 5%. It is these areas that we are having conflict. Because
level 7 to level 14, level 15 to 17.
Yes, level 7 to 14, level 15 to 17. So these two areas, 30%, government says, no, I can only pay 9.5%. 15 to 17, give us 25%. Government says, no, 5% should be enough for these big men.
Because let's say level 17, let's say a level 17 officer that was going home with 500,000 naira before.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, $500,000. By the time you add 25% to that, you know what that is.
So just take a quarter of what he gets. So add a quarter of what he gets. And that's more than 100,000.
It's more than.
And federal government is saying that, 5% should be enough for you.
The direct implication of this thing is that the minimum wage will drive up the wage bill significantly.
Significantly.
Across states.
We already have problems. Revenue streams, not really impressive. Even the minister was talking about it, that the problem we have is revenue, not the debt.
Even the money coming in is not,
But you can't say that. If you are not
bringing
in enough revenue,
you can't.
Your revenue to debt ratio
you spend.
is not good enough.
Yes.
Then we will be bothered about the debt. Because how do you pay back when the revenue is not impressive? How do you pay back? You can't keep taking debt all over the place when your revenue is not impressive and you don't expect people to be worried. Of course, people will be worried. So this is the situation. It then means now we are saying that capital to expenditure ratio in our budget is very, very bad.
Yeah.
This minimum wage problem will even worsen that, whether we like it or not. It means that your recurrent expenditure will become much bigger.
Yes.
And what you then set aside for capital expenditure
and it's dangerous
will go down.
because
for any nation.
Infrastructural deficit.
Yeah, it will be greater. Infrastructural deficit will become greater.
In fact, that's part of the problem we're having today now. That's why the roads are the way they are, because by the time
the population is growing.
The population is growing.
And we won't give up on some roads. You see some roads, inner city roads, and you say, will they ever come here?
When the major one are not
talk of one. Now, contenders for the November 16, I beg your pardon, governorship election in Kogi and Bayelsa states are gradually emerging. In Kogi State, the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, has announced those who will battle for its governorship tickets. The screening committee of the APC gave the nod for Governor Yaya Bello and three other aspirants to contest the primary election slated for the 29th of August, if that date has not been tampered with right now. In a report issued in Abuja on Monday, the chairman of the committee, Senator Hope Uzodinma, said other aspirants approved are Abubakar Bashir and Ekele Aishat Blessing and Hassan Abdullahi. 12 other aspirants were asked from the contest due to the factors like discrepancies in documents presented, invalid nomination process, and no evidence of financial contribution to the party. Let the game begin, you will say. But before we start, let's hear the reactions of those disqualified aspirants in this report.
The party screening committee headed by Hope Uzodinma said the aspirants were screened out from contesting the primary of the party for offences ranging from double declaration of age, non-commitment to the party, and non-attachment of relevant documents to their nomination forms. The disqualified aspirants have formed a coalition, faulting the decision of the party to disqualify them from contesting for the governorship seat.
Remember specifically in my own case that there was a place that I signed, but the screening committee insisted that at some point my name should have come before the signature. And being a lawyer and a litigator, but being respectful at the same time, I apologized and said, well, there are 3 other places, starting from the beginning of this form to the end of it, where my name has been sufficiently articulated. But at your observation and insistence, I might as well just go ahead and write my name.
Others say they were unjustly disqualified.
I'll tell you that I need to study and wait for the final decision of the party. What we saw, and as revealed too, was a letter purportedly written by the committee. So I will wait for the final decision of the party before I could unveil further steps to be taken.
We don't plan to dump the party, but for a fact I can tell you that the people back in Kogi State are not very happy with the leadership in the state, especially with the current governor. And I do not think that APC that I know should reward failure with success. This is not why we built APC. We built APC so that every Nigerian will have an opportunity to present himself, and people will be chosen based on merit. Now, this cartel kind of behavior is very unfortunate. Hatchetman job. I feel very sad about it.
They are taking their appeal to the National Working Committee of the party and are arguing that the body to reverse the decision of the screening committee led by Mr. Uzodimma. They urge the NWC to allow all 16 aspirants who picked the nomination and expression of interest forms worth 22.5 million naira to vie for the ticket of the party during the primaries.
Babajide, first of all, I would say 12, you can listen to Mr. Babatunde Irukara there saying that one, maybe punctuation or dots after his name on technical ground.
You put your name before your signature. This and that. You should have signed before your name.
So that's enough ground.
That's a very ridiculous ground. I've had, you see, sometimes politics has this character of smearing decent people and making them look bad. Because in our kind of politics, many bad people excel. I know Babatunde Irukara very well.
That's the pronunciation of his name.
Irukara. That means locust bean.
Okay.
Does not decay.
Okay.
His name is just like Dino Melaye, that people say Melaye. That's rubbish. There is nothing like Melaye in Yoruba. His name is Melaye. I don't own the word.
Owner of the word.
That's the meaning. So when you say Dino Melaye, you are not saying anything. That's not a Yoruba name. Okay. But when you say Melaye, that's the correct pronunciation of his name. I don't own the word. Okay. You know, Irukera, Iru, that is locust bean. Does not decay. Okay. My friend, the PDP spokesman,
Olugbo.
That means the wise one.
Okay.
The wise one avoids famine. Famine.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
More than his name. I call him Olugbo.
Okay. That means because he's wise.
He's wise, he has banished famine.
Banish famine.
Yeah.
So that it does not get caught up by famine.
Okay.
So This you pay me after.
At least our viewers will learn from you.
So these are Kogi names.
Okay.
You know, from
It shows you are a real son of the soil.
Back then, back then, and I listened to my mother very well. You know, so that is the thing. Very decent guy, right from our university days.
Brilliant.
Yes, read law. At a point, because of problem of accreditation, they moved our law students out of the school. You know, they moved them out of the school to another school that had accreditation.
Yeah.
So we lost touch, but he was very effective, disciplined fellow. You can't tell me that someone like Irukera, who had who was screened by the DSS before he got that appointment, a man with
the vice president?
Yes, a man with a disposition similar to that of the man who is his mentor, the VP, Oshibajo. You tell me that it's not qualified, and you leave people who if you call their name, even in public, in Kogi, people will not know them. Because those people that they cleared, those people that they cleared, people don't know them. Those are the people they refuse to clear. Do you know that one?
Blessing.
Who is she?
Hassan Abdullahi.
Who is she? Who is that one in Kogi? Who knows? Some of them, even in their wards, they will lose elections by wide margin. But the people that they have left, that they have cleared, they cannot, those ones can't defeat the governor. The people they refuse to clear, if those ones are allowed to contest against the governor, they will defeat the governor. So this thing is a game. And APC does not appear to be interested in learning lessons. Because,
that's the most unfortunate
because I warned them when they were doing this kind of hanky-panky in Adamawa, and doing bogus primaries at midnight in pitch darkness in Adamawa. I said this whole thing will not work. You can disqualify aspirants, but you can't disqualify the voters. Exactly. At the end of the day, the voters will get to decide.
They are king.
Except if it's not a free and fair election. So let the party, let APC define what it really is as a party, by letting people know that it is interested in the tenets of democracy.
Level playing ground.
Yes, let's have level playing ground. You can't say that Irukera does not know his age, or this, or what is all this. Someone who contested the primaries in 2015. We are now saying that, we are now being told that he was not in the that he had not been in the party long enough.
Or up to a year or so.
He joined them. He started APC with them. He started APC and contested the primaries. The primaries that produced the former governor, the one that died.
Yes.
I mean, the governor-elect that died.
Yes.
Abaka Audu, he was validly elected. The election had ended. So that is today now we are realizing that Irukera is not, he didn't join the party early enough. Meanwhile, you brought a man who had not stayed in APC for up to a year. Hope Uzodinma, when did he join the APC? And he became candidate of the APC in Imo and was well defeated.
Yes.
Trashed. Well defeated, trashed like a little boy that you spank in the bum. Someone without political pedigree. You brought him when you could have brought someone from Owerri zone that were hungry for the thing. Yes. If APC had brought someone from Owerri zone, they would have won that election. You know, but that's not what we had. All of these missteps will not help the party.
Even look at our senior colleague, Yakubu Mohammed, that was also screened out. What will
after all these years
between the two of them, with Tunde and Yakubu Mohammed? These are people who have distinguished themselves in their chosen profession.
Many years in those many years in New Nigeria.
So what exactly?
What are you looking for?
What exactly were they looking for in these 3 or 4 that have been cleared that these gentlemen don't have?
Okay.
So
they just told me, my producer
Yes.
just told me, we have Olushola Olumoroti. That's the Director General of Rear Admiral
Usman Jibril.
Usman Jibril, okay.
Usman Jibril. I think one of those people that
Who
were
were
purportedly
disqualified.
For Naval staff.
that were purportedly disqualified by the APC. Thank you for joining us, Olushola.
Yeah, good evening. My name is George Olumoroti Olushola, the Usman Jibril Campaign Director General.
Okay.
What's going on?
The reason APC in Kogi gave to disqualify your aspirants.
Well, we look at the reason that they gave. One of it that there is discrepancy in age, which is strange to us. One of it, they said he has not been supporting the party, which is equally strange to us. They also disputed the membership card, that is ID, for which they gave to our principal since July 2017. So for us, it's just the Uzodima just cook up all those stories, to achieve something they had in mind, which is just to give Yaya Bello a landing, that is favorable to him.
But it wasn't only Yaya Bello that was cleared.
Yes, because we also know, because all of us, we are politicians in Kogi State. The other three people are people that Yaya Bello bought form for.
Wow.
So, by implication, it's only Yaya Bello that was clear.
You might not be able to substantiate that.
Babatunde Irukera contested for Guba in 2015 as an aspirant. It was clear. And today, he's been an appointee of the same government. And Uzodima is claiming that the man is less than 1 year in the party.
Somebody who is older than him in the party.
Claims are unsubstantiated. And we know, all these are something they had, where they wanted to go, what they want to achieve. They already have their mind made up. But today
what do you intend doing now?
Before the panel, and we're able to clear all those things. Like I went there with my principal. We went there with the age declaration. We went there with evidence of support to the party, and they couldn't dispute it.
So what's going to happen now? Will you participate the primaries slated for Thursday?
Oh, obviously we will, because we are confident that the appeal panel that was set up, men with credibility. The questions they asked were very direct, and then we responded by giving them all the required documentation. And other aspirants who were disqualified, we saw them at that panel too, including Babate Lukera, Mona Audu, and a lot of Professor Seidu too was there. Because the basis for the disqualification were questionable.
I want to thank you. Thank you, Olushola.
The question also we should ask is this. All other panel, the screening panel has been headed by governors.
Yes.
Why this time did they single out Kogi to be headed by a senator?
PDP. Okay, PDP used Sheyi Makinde in Bayelsa. While in Kogi, they used Governor Dixon of Taraba.
Yes. So why do you, is APC scaling down its own process of screening by giving it to
someone much lower than
a governor.
Somebody who couldn't win an election.
Exactly. Those are the questions that the APC needs to be asking itself. As a party, the ruling party, you must up the game, not lower it. They have, with what they have done, maybe one day now they would just take a. I don't mean to be disparage anybody, but they would take maybe a failed member of House of Assembly to come and do
as long as he can achieve the aim.
Exactly. He doesn't speak well of them. He doesn't speak well.
According to Olushola Olurotimi now, the DG, now we know that the panel there's an appeal committee.
Yes, I know that. Even NWC They were meeting right up to the point when we entered the studio.
Okay.
And people are hopeful that something.
So they'll be able to look at the list very well and
Yes.
rectify it, so they make sure that they do justice. Those 12 people that were frivolously screened away from
ridiculously.
It's funny.
You know, it just looks like.
Is it a bank check that you say that your name is before?
Very soon, they will even say people should bring their bank statements.
Meanwhile, they've collected money from them. They've collected
that your signature is before your name, or your name is before signature.
You collect so much money from people
over 300 million
only to disqualify them on frivolous and extremely ridiculous grounds. People like Irukera,
he's ridiculous.
Age falsification at this level.
It's ridiculous.
People who have served their country, a whole former chief of naval staff. The people capable of winning the election are the people you are disqualifying. Now we are hearing that because in Kogi, the truth is, the governor is in a bind. This thing is not sentiment.
No, it's not.
The people are not happy with his performance. We were talking here the other day, we said he still had a long way to go. Unfortunately, time has caught up with him. So now, the truth is, even the people that he installed at local government level as officials of the party is not guaranteed that he will get their votes.
That is it.
Except he goes now to replace those people.
Because the man is thoroughly unpopular.
Because there's no guarantee. So the best bet, the game is let us see how we can put these people there so that those ones will step down. When they step down, the governor will now become the sole candidate.
And it's dangerous for the party because the man is not popular.
How do you do that? How do you do that? So those ones, you put people who cannot really challenge him, you leave them alone. The people who can defeat him, you now said they should not contest. That means you are working is wuru-wuru to the answer now.
Yeah.
That is what is called wuru-wuru to the answer. And the electorate, they are watching. It's not difficult to look at PDP and say, okay, PDP, maybe we voted for them in the past. We can vote for them again. These are the kind of mistakes that APC leaders make. How much longer will they be making this kind of mistakes? You divide your party on the eve of an election.
On the eve of an election.
And then when you lose the election, you'll be looking for scapegoats. The way they made Abdul Qadir scapegoat in Sokoto. When Maga Takadawamako was picking an unpopular person, his boy, as candidate, over people much more popular than the boy, you did not complain. You told Maga Takadawamako, whatever he said in Sokoto, people will listen. And I predicted, I said he would lose the election. They lost the election the first time. You asked me again that they rerun, what will happen? I said he would lose the second time because we are connected to what is going on in those states. I go to those states, I know what's going on. Maga Takadawamako is no longer as popular as he used to be. So this is the reality. APC leaders must begin to know these things. You can't be seen to be supporting a particular candidate. When you do that, you will turn other aspirants against that candidate. The alternative is these people, once they've lost an election, and you can see that they lost in acrimonious circumstances, try to refund the money
to them.
Their money to them because they will remain bitter.
Yeah.
But you don't do that, you think that they should go to hell.
And you even meet with them. Look at the Ekiti model.
Yes.
Immediately after Ekiti Primary,
exactly.
The president met with all the aspirants.
All the aspirants, and they talked.
The question to ask is, if you are doing something good, shouldn't you replicate it? Did they do it for Adamawa?
No. Unfortunately.
Adamawa was more acrimonious than Ekiti because from 2016 they've been fighting themselves.
Yeah.
Did they do it in Adamawa? They didn't do it. Did they do it in Bauchi? They didn't do it. You do something good, you get praise for doing it, and you relax. They didn't do it. So this is the thing. They are just behaving as if they want to self-destruct. And PDP will be somewhere and be smiling. They'll be very happy.
Yes.
You know? They'll be drinking champagne over the woes of PDP, of APC.
Olaika Iguli, thank you so much for being part of today's edition of Journalist Hangout, and BQ himself. The Metro.
I thank you, Jared.
Thank you so much. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.